Good morning, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning. You all ready?
We pulling out the bills now, ma'am, and we're gonna be ready to rock.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get the 4 lines, and make 4 lines. So make another line right here, and another line right here. Everybody throwing the line. They even lines.
Once the judge gets done with the speech, we gonna put.
Oh, I don't know about him. Tell him right here. He might do need a interpreter. I don't know about him.
No, he don't need a turn. He understands English. He just.
Yeah, just move up. Make the lines even. 4 even lines. Meaning if the line next to you is short, get in it. All right, everybody move up with me. Everybody take 1 step. 1 step. 1 step. Right there, stop. Stop.
All right, Judge.
All right. Good morning. I'm Judge Salvia Fox. Let me have all the defendants please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you provided on your application for court-appointed counsel is true and correct? So help you God. If so, say I do.
I do. I do.
All right. Thank you. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We are not here to try your case or to take a plea. You are here for the court to inform you of the charges against you, advise you of certain rights, set bail on those offenses for which this court is authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if this case goes to trial. During this and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The right to indictment by the grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. The right to a speedy and public trial by jury. The right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called to testify against you. The right to compel the attendance of witnesses in your own behalf by subpoena. The right to testify and offer other evidence in your own defense, should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to do so, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. You have the right to have an attorney represent you. At this point, I am going to appoint an attorney to represent each one of you. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail pending prosecution of the case, which may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash together with applicable mandated fees to the sheriff's office, who will hold it until your final court date, at which time the cash bond will be returned to the person who posted it. If you use a commercial bonding company approved by the sheriff, someone will have to pay the company up to 15% of the total bond as their fee for their service. This fee will not be returned. Someone may post a bond using their property if they have net equity in the property in an amount equal to 3 times the total amount of the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to or around certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from calling or having other contact with the victim while you are in jail. Should you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you would not be entitled to another bond while you are awaiting trial. An additional charge of aggravated stalking, influencing a witness, or other charge as the law may provide could be brought against you, for which you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $10,000. For family members who will assist you in posting bond, they will be provided information of your bond after we have concluded the first appearance calendar. If a family member is a victim on the warrant and there is a special condition that you are to have no contact with that family member, he or she will not be allowed to post the bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a superior court judge, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, authorized to set a bond. Your bond will be reconsidered after your probation officer has an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for violation of your probation, usually during your preliminary hearing. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained until such time as your case goes to trial. For those of you charged with misdemeanors only, you will have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Waiving your hearing will not affect your right to post bond, your right to have an attorney appointed to represent you, or your right to a jury trial. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived and you will be mailed a notice when to appear in the state court for arraignment. If you cannot make bond, you may waive your preliminary hearing and be taken before a state court judge, at which time, if you plead guilty, you will be sentenced. If you plead not guilty, a trial will be scheduled. For those of you that have felony charges, you will not have this option of waiving your preliminary hearing, as you will have to speak with an attorney first. All right, I am going to do the females first. I'm going to call you all up individually, and then I will do the males when I conclude. The first person is going to be Kiana Bailey.
Bailey?
All right, hold on just a moment.
Good morning. How you
Good
doing?
morning. I'm good, thank you. Hold on just a moment.
Yes,
Yeah, but the thing about it,
I
if
know.
you do that, we just won't be that important.
that's fine. Hello. My name is Kiana Bailey. I'm not sure if I have a felony or a misdemeanor or what's really going on at all.
All right, hold on, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to get my screen back up. All right. All right. Ms. Bailey, you are charged with arson in the first degree and criminal trespass. On the arson, your bond is $25,000. On the criminal trespass, your bond is $5,000. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Maria Angeles, also not to return to or go upon the premises located at 7609 Haley Drive in Jonesboro. Also not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Do you understand that, ma'am?
And I didn't mean.
You don't have to say anything about your case because I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You know, you indicated that you didn't know what you were charged with. The warrant indicates that you opened the mailbox at the victim's address and set a piece of mail belonging to the victim, Maria Angeles.
See her daughter, Elizabeth.
You threw the burning mail onto the front porch against the front door, and you then bent the mailbox stand and door. So that is what the warrant indicates. Do you believe that you will be able to post your bond of $30,000, ma'am?
No.
All right, ma'am, your preliminary hearing is going to be set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, ma'am. Next is going to be Courtney Bell, and after Miss Bell, Charmel Paris.
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Bell, you are charged with battery. Your bond is $5,000. Cruelty to children in the second degree, $10,000 bond, and simple battery, $5,000 bond. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Raina Lee, Kamaya Taylor, and Robert Rhodes, and also not to violate any laws while you're on bond. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you believe you will be able to post your bond, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And ma'am, your preliminary hearing, I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, you go back inside the cell, you come on out.
Are you back in mine?
All right, Ms. Paris, Darmel Paris, and then next will be Chelsea Presley. All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with battery. Your bond is $4,000 on that charge, and simple battery, $4,000 bond for a total of $8,000. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Nancy Cross and Quintesis Gay. Also, not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Ma'am, they came to my house though. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
All right. And I'll appoint an attorney to represent you, so you'll be able to, any information you have regarding your case or in your defense, you can share that with your attorney. Ma'am, because this is a misdemeanor case, you have the option of having a preliminary hearing. It would be set for June 15th here in Magistrate Court, or you can waive your case to state court, where you would have a hearing probably in about within 10 days in front of a state court judge. Do you want to have the hearing, the preliminary hearing on June 15th, or waive your case to state court?
No, I'm confused because I don't know.
Okay, I'll go ahead and set it for June 15th, and you'll be able to speak with your attorney about that. They can explain the hearing to you a little bit more. So it will be June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 203. June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 203. Thank you, ma'am.
3. And how much is my bond again?
Total of $8,000.
So if I go through a bond account, I need like $900, $1,000.
Yeah, you'll need to contact them and they can give you the specific amount. Thank you, ma'am. Chelsea Presley.
Good morning.
Good morning. After Ms. Presley will be Miriam Torres Rodriguez. All right, Ms. Presley, you are charged with fleeing from a police officer, a $1,500 bond, improper lane change, $500 bond, possession of marijuana, $1,500 bond, child restraint violation, $500 bond, and cruelty to children in the first degree, a $1,500 bond.
Okay.
All right. See, ma'am, do you believe that you can post your bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you understand what you're charged with, or would you like to have the charges read to you?
I don't understand the cruelty.
All right. It says that you intentionally fled from the sheriff's deputies after being told to stop at a traffic safety checkpoint, supervised by Lieutenant Guthrie, with blue lights illuminated, orange cones, and highly visible signs placed. You then continue to flee after deputies in a marked patrol vehicle with blue emergency lights and sirens activated were behind your vehicle a gray 2007 Lexus RX 350, displaying Georgia tag RS 10804. After stopping your vehicle, an unknown passenger fled from the vehicle. A green leafy substance believed to be marijuana was located in the center console. You also had your infant child in the rear of the vehicle in a child seat that was improperly restrained. The child was screaming and crying in obvious distress. All right. Okay. You have a misdemeanor misdemeanor case, ma'am, you have the option of having your preliminary hearing on June 15th here in Magistrate Court, or you can waive your case to state court where you should have a hearing probably within about 10 days. Would you like to have the preliminary hearing on June 15th, or do you want to go ahead and waive your case to state court?
Well, I'll do the preliminary hearing.
Okay, it will be set for June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 203. June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 203.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can you tell me the total amount of my bond, the total amount?
Let's see, 5,500.
5,500?
Yep, 5,500.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Miriam Torres Rodriguez, and next will be Bianca Williams. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
All right, ma'am, you are charged with false statements. You have a $5,000 bond. Do you waive the formal reading of the charges, or do you want them read to you?
Could you say that again?
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you? Like, do you want me to read your warrant, or do you think you know what you're charged with?
Can you read them?
It says you falsely reported a crime, a robbery, in both written and verbal testimony to police officers to cover up for your husband, who had been driving without a license and had wrecked his vehicle. All right. So you have a $5,000 bond. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. And ma'am, your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. All right, and then next is Bianca Williams. Thank you, ma'am. After Ms. Williams will be Courtney Zachary.
That's the last one.
Yes. All right. Good morning, ma'am. You are charged with criminal damage to property in the second degree. Your bond is $10,000. You have a special condition not to return to or go upon the premises located at 769 Redland Drive in Jonesboro, and not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
They can be read.
All right, it says that you did intentionally damage the property of Harold Finazzi by throwing a brick through the back glass door frame while also shattering both the bedroom and bathroom window without said owner's consent. The damage to the residence exceeded $500. Yeah, exceeded $500. It occurred at 769 Redland Drive in Jonesboro. And your preliminary hearing is June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. You had a question, ma'am?
Does it matter if I've already paid for the windows to be replaced?
You'll have to speak with your attorney about that. I've appointed an attorney to represent you, and you can speak with them about your case.
Okay.
I can't give you any legal advice.
Will I be able to bond out to
Yes, your bond is, let me look at it again. Hold on. Yeah, you can post bond. It's $10,000.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right, Courtney Zachary. All right, good morning, ma'am. You are charged with disorderly conduct. Your bond is $1,500. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
You can read them to me.
It says, without provocation, you used abusive and obscene language outside in the front of 5622 Sapphire Circle in Ellenwood towards your live-in mother, Beverly Harris, and myself, well, that's the police officer, in a loud and tumultuous manner, causing immediate breach of the peace Officer also advised the offender to stop using obscene language, but she continued to act in the manner. All right. Do you believe you will be able to post your bond, ma'am?
I'm asking for time served to be a.
Hold on. I'm not doing any pleas right now. You'll be able to discuss that. And if you decide to enter a plea, you would have to do that in state court with a state court judge. So I'm just giving you a bond and letting you know what you're charged with. Now, you would have the opportunity to have a preliminary hearing in magistrate court on June 15th. Or if you want to expedite your case to state court, you would have a hearing probably within about 10 days if you're trying to resolve your case. So do you want to have the preliminary hearing, which is a probable cause hearing on June 15th, or do you want to expedite your case and waive it to state court?
You can waive it to state court because this is more serious.
Okay, so they will have there a waiver form for you to sign, and it'll waive your case to state court. You still have a $1,500 bond, so you can still bond out, but if not, you will have, your case will go to state court. If you bond out, then you'll get your next court date in the mail.
So if I don't bond out, can you give me time served for the 1,500?
No, if you don't bond out, then they will, you'll have a hearing in state court probably in about 10 days. But if you do bond out, then you'll get your next court date in the mail.
No, I'm in debt, so I can't bond out. I'll just stay here to 10 days and you can give me my.
Okay.
Date.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
When is the next court date?
The next court date, if you waive the preliminary hearing, it'll be 10 days.
Okay, I'm waiting.
So
it.
step over here.
Okay.
and ask them.
Thank you.
Jefferson, you want to take that back?
I'll take it back.
Oh, okay. Remind me back.
Right. Charles Banks. And after Mr. Banks will be Aaron Burks.
Oh, that's the way that it's gonna be sentenced to 10 days.
You're not including me.
All right, sir, what's your name? Come on up here. Judge, who you got at the Banks? Burks.
After Banks will be Aaron Burks.
Burks, okay.
All right, good morning, sir. Sir, you are charged with pointing a pistol or gun at another person. Your bond is $4,000. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
Read them to me. I don't really understand.
Okay, it says that you committed the above offense of pointing a gun at another when you pointed a black in color Cobra 38 caliber at victim Devontavious Neville, as well as victim William Luther Rosser, causing them to become in fear of their life. Both victims on scene advised the incident was over $20. So your bond is $4,000. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Devontavious Neville and William Luther Rosser and not to violate any laws while you are on bond.
Okay.
Sir, do you believe that you will be able to post your $4,000 bond?
No, ma'am.
All
But-
right. And sir, this is a misdemeanor. You have the option of having a preliminary hearing in magistrate court on June 15th, or you can waive your case to state court.
So what
You
you,
would probably have a hearing in about 10 days in state court.
so I had to say him if I can't burn out.
If you can't bond out, you can either have a hearing, a probable cause hearing in magistrate court on June 15th, or you can waive your case to state court, or you'd have a hearing probably in about 10 days.
So what'll be the best? But
I can't give you any legal advice, but I need, do you want to have a hearing in state court in 10 days? or do you want to have a preliminary hearing on June 15th?
But,
Do you want to waive your preliminary hearing, yes or no? There's no
what do
other-
you mean by that?
She
This my
just
first
explained
time,
it to you.
but I don't understand the court because I haven't.
Okay, so sir, there's going to be an attorney that's appointed to represent you so they can answer any questions. I'm going to go ahead and set your hearing for June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in room 203. If they speak with you about waiving that hearing, then they'll be able to submit a waiver to the court. All right, so it will be June 15th at 8:30. Thank you, sir.
All right, come on,
Okay,
let's
thank
take this one. See, because you're not listening. Come on over there. Go ahead. Don't worry.
All right, Aaron Burks, and after Mr. Burks will be Curtis Copeland. All right. Good morning, sir. Mr. Burks, you are charged with
Leave.
theft by taking.
Can you read it to me, ma'am?
All right. Your bond, I'm gonna give you a $2,000 signature bond. It says, sir, that you took 2 bicycles that were chained up at the Student Activity Center, 2000 Clayton State Boulevard in Morrow, which was the property of Tim Newsesser and Mr. Bradley K. All right. Because I'm giving you a signature bond, you will be released on your own recognizance. You will need to sign a waiver of your preliminary hearing, and you will receive your next court date in the mail. All right. Thank you, sir.
Step up, Copeland. And line you back. Start that.
All right, Curtis Copeland. And after Mr. Copeland will be DeVaris Grant. Right. Good morning, sir. You are charged with simple assault, $3,000 bond, crossing the guard line with drugs, gun, or alcohol, $5,000 bond, and possession of marijuana.
I ain't got no man.
Possession of marijuana, violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, $5,000 bond.
How much that be?
The total is $13,000. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you, sir?
What do you mean by that?
Do you want your charge? Do you want the warrant read, or do you understand what you're charged with?
I can't comprehend.
All right, let me just go ahead and read it to you. For the simple assault, it says you attempted to hit the victim, Jesse Cleckley, with a pan, which may resulted in injury to the victim. The incident was witnessed by the offender's sister, Corinne Copeland, who advised the offender was in possession of a pan and attempted to swing it towards the victim. The victim and the offender currently live together. Okay. And then for the crossing a guard line and the possession of a controlled substance, it says you were crossing the guard line when you had a white powder substance, cocaine. The offender advised that the white powder substance was cocaine. The offender was searched prior to arrest. The offender was in possession of a controlled substance suspected to be cocaine when he was being searched in the Clayton County Jail, and a clear bag with a white substance came out of his sock. The offender advised it was cocaine. It tested positive for cocaine. So that is what you are charged with, sir. And, all right.
Can I ask you something?
So, sir, you also have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Jesse Cleckley, and also not to return to or go upon the premises located at 6219 Townsend Way. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you believe you can post your bond, sir?
How much is it gonna be? How much?
Well, the total is $13,000. If you pay it in cash or go through a bonding company, it will be up to 15%. Your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir.
I think John 16.
All right, Devaris Grant. And then after Mr. Grant will be Jean Hernandez. All right, you, Mr. Grant.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
All right, good morning, sir. You are charged with theft by 2 counts of theft by receiving stolen property and 3 counts of altering a VIN number. You have no bond set at this time as you're currently on 12 months probation in Clayton County State Court, case number 2019 CR 04290. Do you understand the charges against you, or do you want them read to you, sir?
I understand the charges.
All right.
What?
And
No bond, sir. Step this way.
we'll waive formal reading of the charges. Sir, do you believe you can well, no, you don't have bond. I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. All right, thank you, sir. Next will be Jean Hernandez. And after Mr. Hernandez will be Nicholas Heron. All right, good morning, sir. You are charged with driving on a suspended or revoked license. I'm gonna give you a $1,500 signature bond.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I got you. And
Do you,
yes,
hold on, do you understand the charge against you? Do you waive formal reading of the charges, or do you want them read to you?
no, I
Do you
understand.
want the warrant read to you? Okay. And let me see. Sir, you will need to sign a waiver of your preliminary hearing since I'm letting you out on your own recognizance, and you'll get your next court date in the mail. You have a question, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I got a question. I will say I got the receipt. I paid. But
Okay, hold on. You'll have to give that information to your attorney that I've appointed to represent you. All right? Thank you, sir.
have a great one.
Come on. You gotta sign away.
Yes, he does need to sign the waiver. Nicholas Haran, and then Marquise Kempson. All right, good morning, sir. You are charged with violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. Your bond is $5,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want your charges read to you?
I waive them.
All right. Do you believe you can post your bond, sir?
Yes, I think so.
All right, and your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I'll have Marquise Kempson and then Aquette Lawson. All right, you, Mr. Kempson?
Yeah.
All right, good morning, sir.
How you
You are charged with 3 counts of violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. On the first count, possession of marijuana. You have a $5,000 bond, possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, $10,000 bond, and then possession of a controlled substance. It looks like that's the oxycodone pills. That's a $5,000 bond, total of $20,000. You have a special condition not to violate any laws while you're on bond. Do you waive the formal reading of the charges, or do you want your charges read to you? The warrant, do you want your warrant read to you?
You can read it too.
All right, it says that you are speeding in excess of 90 miles per hour in a 65-mile-per-hour zone on I-75 southbound near State Route 54 within the city limits of Morrow. Upon contact with the driver, I could smell an odor of raw marijuana coming from within the vehicle. The probable cause search of the gray backpack yielded 3.62 ounces of raw marijuana, 2 digital scales, 6 white pills, M522 oxycodone, 22 clear Ziploc bags, 7 containing marijuana. Kimson claimed ownership of the bag. All right. Do you believe you can post your bond, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Have a blessed day.
All right. Next, I have Mr. Lawson and then Tajay McCray. All right, Mr. Lawson, you are charged with improper lane change, $500 bond, driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, $2,000 bond. Special condition, not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you? Do you want the warrant read to you or do you understand what you're charged with?
You know why you're here?
Huh?
You know what you're charged with?
Yeah.
Do you know what you're charged with, yes or no?
Please, I didn't
Read it,
see-
Judge.
I didn't see
All
any-
right. It says that you were operating a white Toyota Camry, license plate. It has a license plate number on a public highway in Forest Park, I-75 North, Clayton County, and failed to maintain your lane when you left the roadway, jumped the curb, and drove onto the median, causing front damage to the tire of your vehicle.
Judge, we can't hear you. Oh.
Judge.
Judge. We can't hear you. Mm-mm.
No. Can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now, sir?
Hear you now.
All right. Let me start over. Operating a white Toyota Camry. There's a license plate number on a public highway, Forest Parkway, I-75 North. Clayton County failed to maintain your lane. When you left the roadway, jumped the curb, drove onto the median, causing the front passenger tire to go flat. When contact was made with the driver, the officer detected a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage coming from your breath and your person. Your eyes were red and glassy. The offender stated he was coming from his girlfriend's house and had not consumed any alcoholic beverages today. Then was asked to perform standard field sobriety tests, and he agreed. During that time, he displayed impairment on the HGN tests that were administered by the officer. The alcohol sensor returned positive for alcohol, 0.058. Implied consent was read for blood. Says you consented to that. All right, sir, do you believe that you can post your $2,500 bond?
Yes.
All right, and sir, you have the option of having a preliminary hearing here in Magistrate Court on June 15th, or you can waive your preliminary hearing, waive your case to state court, or you would have a hearing in about 10 days. Do you want to have the preliminary hearing or do you want to waive your case to state court?
I don't have an appointment.
Say it again.
Take your mask off.
What'd you say?
She asked me if I want.
What did you say? Say it again. She didn't hear you.
I want to have the appointment.
Okay, so your hearing will be scheduled for, this is for your preliminary hearing, June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 203. June 15th at 8:30 in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir. Next will be Tajay McCray. And after Mr. McCray will be Christopher Wapara, in Wapara. All right. Good morning, sir. You are charged with simple assault. Your bond is $3,000. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you? All right, as you did commit the act of simple assault when you charged at said victim, Cassandra McCray, in a threatening manner, placing her in reasonable apprehension of receiving a violent injury. Constitute an act of family violence due to the victim and the offender currently residing together. Your bond is $3,000. You have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Cassandra McCray. Also, not to return to or go upon the premises located at 10891 Terra Village Way in Jonesboro, and not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah.
Yes or no? You understand it? Yes or no?
All right. And sir, do you believe you can post your $3,000 bond?
Yes.
All right. And you have the option of having a preliminary hearing on June 15th, or you can waive that preliminary hearing. You can waive your case to state court where you'd have a hearing in about 10 days. So do you want to have your hearing in magistrate court, a preliminary hearing on June 15th, or do you want to waive your case to state court?
Yeah, I'll take the June 15th.
All right, it'll be June 15th at 8:30 in courtroom 203. June 15th at 8:30 in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir. All right, Christopher Nwapara. And then next will be Adrian Parker. All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You are charged with aggravated assault by strangulation. Due to the nature of the charge, you have no bond set. Kidnapping, no bond. False imprisonment, no bond. Criminal trespass, damage to property, $4,000 bond. Battery, $5,000 bond. And cruelty to children, $3,000 bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
I'll waive.
All right. Sir, you also have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Courtney Harrison, not to return to or go upon the premises located at 225 Johnson Road, apartment 51F in Forest Park, and not to violate any laws while you are on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And let me see. Sir, your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir. All right, Adrian Parker. And then next will be Manuel Ramirez. All right, good morning, Mr. Parker. You are charged with aggravated assault by strangulation, no bond due to the nature of the charges, battery, family violence, $5,000 bond, and cruelty to children, a $3,000 bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
Read to me.
Okay. Just a moment, sir. All right, for the aggravated assault by strangulation, says that you did knowingly and intentionally with an object, device, or instrument which, when used offensively against a person, is likely to or actually does result in strangulation. Said accused did use both of his hands to apply pressure to the victim's neck, the victim Barnisha Smith, obstructing her from breathing. For the battery, that you intentionally caused visible bodily harm to Barnisha Smith by grabbing the victim's wrist and striking the victim on her right side of her face, resulting in a cut and under her left eye, resulting in a bruise. Said accused and the victim share a child together. For the cruelty to children, said accused, the primary aggressor, having knowledge that a child under the age of 18 is present and sees or hears the acts of the accused, did commit battery and aggravated assault by strangulation against Barnisha Smith when he did grab the victim's wrist and strike the victim on the right side of her face, resulting in a cut, striking her under the left eye, resulting in a bruise, as well as using both his hands to apply pressure to the victim's neck, obstructing her from breathing in the presence of their shared juvenile child, Alani Parker, and the victim's juvenile son, Kyron Smith. All right, sir, your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. June 16th at 8 in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir. All right, Manuel Ramirez, and then next will be David Remeke.
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, sorry, yes, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
You are charged with theft by shoplifting. Your bond is $2,000.
What's the charge, ma'am? It's a misdemeanor?
It's a misdemeanor, theft by shoplifting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a $2,000 signature bond.
Yes,
You will
ma'am.
have a special condition. Listen, you have two special conditions. First, not to return to the Home Depot at 2034 Mountain Zion Road in Morrow. Second, also not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And sir, since I am giving you a signature bond, I will need for you to sign a waiver of the preliminary hearing,
Okay.
and you will get your next court date in the mail.
Now,
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. David Remeke. And then after Mr. Remeke will be Maricus Riddles. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good, thank you. Sir, you are charged with false imprisonment. Your bond is $5,000. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
Can you please read them to me?
All right, it says that you committed the act of false imprisonment, that you did arrest and confine and detain the victim, Jelani Abdul Ali, without legal authority by standing in front of the room door, not letting the victim out of the room. This took place in Clayton County, and it's family violence. The offender and the victim are roommates. Your bond is $5,000. You have a special condition not to have any violent or harassing contact with Jelani Abdul Ali and not to violate any laws while you're on bond. You understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you believe you can post your bond, sir?
I could try.
Okay. And sir, your preliminary hearing is set for June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. June 16th at 8 o'clock in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir. Maricus Riddles, and then next, David Shabazz. All right, Mr. Riddles.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, sir. You're charged with a tag violation, $500 bond, driving on a suspended or revoked license, $1,500 bond, giving false name, address, or date of birth, $1,000 bond, obstructing an officer, $1,500 bond, reckless conduct, a $1,500 bond. All right, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
I waive it.
All right. Do you believe you can post your bond, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, and sir, you have the option of having a preliminary hearing here in Magistrate Court on June 15th, or you can waive that hearing and waive your case to state court, or you would have a hearing in about 10 days. So do you want to have your preliminary hearing, or do you want to waive your case to state court?
I don't want to waive anything. I just want to try to get the bond as low as I can, or try to get the signature bond if I can.
Okay. Well, the bond right now is the total bond, let me see, 45, is $6,000 for all of the charges. So you want to have your preliminary hearing on June 15th?
If I bond out, I still have.
If you bond out, then you'll get your next court date in the mail. If you're unable to bond out, I want to know, do you want to have a hearing in Magistrate Court, a preliminary hearing on June 15th? Or do you want to have a hearing in state court in about 10 days?
10 days.
Okay, so they will have a waiver form for you to sign. And thank you, sir.
Stefan, how you gonna do that? Come on, sir.
All right, David Shabazz and D. Rodney Trailer will be next. All right.
Good morning, Your
All right, good morning. All right, sir, you are charged with loitering or prowling. Your bond is $1,000. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
Ma'am, I want to say one thing.
No, I don't want to hear any facts about your case or anything about that. You'll have to speak with your attorney. So I need to know, do you understand what you're charged with, or do you want me to read the warrant to you?
Yes, ma'am. I mean,
All right.
I understand what it is. I don't,
All right.
I don't know what to say, you know?
All right. Okay. Sir, do you believe you can make your $1,000 bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And sir, you have the option of having a preliminary hearing here in Magistrate Court on June 15th, or you can waive that hearing and waive your case to state court, where you would have a hearing in about 10 days.
I really want to take my case to trial. That's what I want to do.
Okay, I'll set your case, your preliminary hearing. It'll be June 15th. This is not your trial date. It's just a preliminary hearing. Right, June 15th at 8:30 in courtroom 203. All right, thank you, sir.
Come on, sir.
D. Rodney Trailer.
Where's the tape for your face? Go get it.
And after Mr. Trailer will be Tariq Watley.
How you doing?
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, you are charged with stalking. Your bond is $5,000. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read to you?
Yes, ma'am. I want them read to you.
All right, it says the offender did place with intent the victim, Jada Calloway, mother of his 2-year-old son, under surveillance, followed and made unwanted contact several times, including at her job twice on the previous date and on this date, and the offender climbed onto the victim's patio and was laying on the patio when she arrived home for the purpose of harassing and intimidating the victim. The victim advised that the offender has made threats of killing himself and her because he is upset about their breakup, and she is afraid that the offender will hurt or kill her. So you have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Jada Calloway, also not to violate any laws while you are out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you can post your $5,000 bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you have the option of having a preliminary hearing here in Magistrate Court on June 15th, or you can waive that hearing, waive your case to state court, where you would have a hearing in about 10 days.
June 15th.
All right, so it will be June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 203. June 15th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 203. Thank you, sir.
Write it down real quick. Y'all need to be writing while she's talking. We're not holding up the line.
All right, Tariq Watley.
Okay, come on, Mr. Watley.
And then the last person is James Young. All right, good morning, sir. You are charged with battery, family violence, $4,000 bond, simple battery, $4,000 bond, cruelty to children in the third degree, $2,000 bond, and criminal trespass, $2,000 bond. Sir, do you waive the formal reading of your charges or do you want them read to you?
No, I'm good.
All right. Sir, you have a special condition to stay away and have no contact with Waynette Kerbo Baines, and also not to violate any laws while you're out on bond. Do you understand that, sir?
Ma'am.
All
Yes.
right. And let me see. Sir, do you believe you can post your bond?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And sir, you have the option of having a preliminary hearing here in Magistrate Court on June 15th, or you can waive that hearing and send your case to state court, where you would have a hearing in about 10 days. If you're still in jail, if you bond out, your hearing will be waived and you'll get your next court date in the mail. But do you want to have your preliminary hearing on June 15th, or do you want to waive your case to state court?
I have my preliminary hearing.
All right, it will be set for June 15th
15.
at 8:30 in courtroom 203. June 15th at 8:30 in courtroom 203.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, that should be everyone. Oh, Mr. Young, right?
Yeah, come on. 5B24, Judge.
Okay.
Stand up, Cody. There you go, Judge.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. James Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Just give me just a second. I'm completing this paperwork. All right. All right, Mr. Young, you are charged with loitering or prowling. Your bond is $1,000, disorderly conduct, $1,500 bond, and giving a false name, address, or date of birth, $1,000 bond. The warrant says that you did commit the offense of loitering or prowling when you were in front of the victim's house, 6347 Terra Boulevard Lane. The victim is Justo Loreno. Without their permission, had no business to conduct. Offender was screaming and yelling at the victim and family while holding a comb and using it in a threatening manner. Offender gave Officer Gator the name James Johnson when asked for his name, when his name is James Young. All right. Do you believe you can post your bond, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And sir, you have the option of having a preliminary hearing on June 15th here in Magistrate Court, or you can waive your case to state court, where you would have a hearing in about 10 days. Do you want to have the preliminary hearing on June 15th, or do you want to waive that hearing?
Waive it.
All right. There will be a waiver form for you to sign. Thank you, sir.
Come on. Come on around. All right, Judge, that's it.
Come on here.
That's it. You all have a good day.
You too, Judge.
All right. Bye.
Bye.